Alright, hello everybody, it's Raven and I'm here with Zorack and his Hex V2, so tell me about the ship.
Well, after attempting to make my capital ship the Hex Mark II, I decided to completely restart with this one, the Hex V2, which is pretty much more spiky, I guess.
Yeah, it's got a good little aesthetic to it.
It's
Admittedly, I think it needs some engines, but
you can see sort of the outline of where the engines will end up being though. It does actually have a hangar that has something in it, because it does have a conference room. I can't say it.
Conference.
Yes.
All good. Alright, I'm just gonna cruise through here in build mode because it's much easier on alright, so this is the main hallway. And I'm cruising on down. Nice lighting on there. I like that.
There's
You don't see
multiple
too many,
hallways.
The
Don't
main
know.
hallway
Oh,
from the
you're
front.
down.
Yeah.
Oh, you're down the one with travel pod. I mean tubes at the top.
I think so.
I know which one that is. Yeah,
the
the rail guards, I call them.
Fair enough. Alright, let's see. And then right behind that we've got, looks like benches? It looks like benches.
Sort of like a waiting area into the conference room with a metal detector. We don't want no terrorists.
Fair enough.
And then we've got the grand conference room, as I like to call it.
Oh, nice. It's like an auditorium sort of thing. Alright.
We've got the more common people underneath the upper floor for the VIPs. Nice little banner, sort of conference table. And then the captain's quarters behind that.
You may want to up the lighting in the larger area. That'll just...
Yeah, this one doesn't have any lights in this area yet.
Okay. And back here, yeah,
Oh,
it looks
Jesus.
like there's... Alright, so that's
I'm
that
sorry, I'm like jerking everywhere. If we go above the hangars, there's actually a sort of botany area.
There we go. Okay. Alright, I'm seeing... Yeah, okay. So no real plants there yet, but you got all the soil laid.
And then, instead of this thing having crew quarters, it has a sort of person crew library, if you go into the rooms next to that.
Okay. I see what you mean.
They're sort of teleporters into a storage area.
Okay. It's an interesting concept. Haven't seen that before.
And then the bridge is pretty much all connected up but unfinished.
Okay.
And this is the first one which I had to make smaller turrets. And it does actually have windows.
That's always a plus. I will say that, you know, turrets don't have to be super massive or anything like that. Just having weight and numbers of turrets sometimes, or, you know, I mean, there is an optimum, like, ratio for it.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to catch, though, sometimes.
The medium-sized turrets I like calling rainfires. I don't know why. Called them rainfires at the time. Stuck with it.
Fair enough. And it looks like towards the back you've got like a little galley sort of thing. Right behind the
Conference. Oh,
yeah.
That's the captain's quarters with a bar and everything.
I see.
And I invented these little chess tables, I like to call them, where I use tetras only to make the table.
Fair enough, yeah. That looks pretty good. Alright. Anything else on this one? 'Cause it's looking like, it looks like, you know, it obviously needs some more wedging and all. But there's really not much to critique yet. I will say that the turrets do look nice.
I was just really wanting an opinion of what I should do with it now, because I don't really know where to go from here.
I think you need differential colors. I think you need to add some detailing to it, and it'll, like, very, very rough detailing, just with, you know, color lines and things like that, and I think that'll really tell you the exact shape of the ship, because it's kind of blocky, not necessarily in a bad way, but it is kind of blocky, and rounding certain parts while keeping certain parts blocky will really help. It does have a nice shape to it, but I think because you have the circular main cannons at the front, so maybe rounding the that big wedge panel that isn't actually wedged yet, but rounding that a little bit, or keeping the top blocky and rounding the bottom of the whole thing for the most part may end up helping you, but just differentiating somehow will probably help. And then continuality lines, like almost like twin racing stripes running back, just to keep, you want certain lines on the ship, and having long thin lines will make the thing look even thinner and spikier and eviler, if that's a word.
That probably isn't, but we'll use it.
It works for now. But doing something like that will really help. I think right now what you may want to do is add in, the basics of the engines, and then do a quick, very rough, mini detailing pass across it, so that you kind of have stuff a little bit more fleshed out, and that itself will be able to essentially tell you what needs to happen. The only other thing I can say, wingy bits towards the back.
Okay.
Trust me, Dalmont, Saber, myself, we're always gonna say wingy bits.
It's gonna be hard to make a wingy bit for this very hexagonal ship, since its name.
Because what you can do is, where you have the engines, right? You have the I'm looking at it right underneath the turret. That whole area, you can make a wingy bit sticking out there, like a big thick one, and then put a crap load of missiles in it for fun. I mean, things like that could work.
The cannons already have missiles in them, quite a lot.
Well, what's wrong with more? You just hook them up to another computer so that you can use 2 different salvos depending on what you're trying to do.
I'm just really.
Or shield.
This has been.
Doesn't really matter.
This is. It's hard to think of a wingy bit when you've got. Yeah.
If you do a counter style so that it's spiking out a little bit, running forward a little bit, that might work for you. Look up the U.S. Air Force's Starflyer.
Okay.
And maybe, or not Starflyer. The French Air Force. That's it. They have an older fighter that has instead of the swept back, but swept forward instead wings. I think that could work with that.
Like that Russian aircraft.
Yeah, there have been a few that have them. I think that might work for you if you do it. It'll take a little bit of tweaking, but it could turn out pretty cool.
I think the detailing might turn out like its first version. The very first hex, it might turn out to be like in its detailing.
If that's the case, then hopefully it was good detailing.
It was.
Well, then I don't see the problem there.
This core room's weird. I haven't been in it in a while.
Well, I would say just, turn on some music, sit down, and try working on it and see what happens.
And I know the exact music I'm gonna work on with it.
Well, looking forward to seeing more out of this, and hopefully you'll bring it back when you've got some detailing and the engine's finished and some other stuff. So, yeah. That being said, I think we'll call it there, and thanks for bringing it by, and thanks to everybody for watching, and we will see you again next time.